Hey everybody, welcome to the Mountain Gamer, and welcome to another one of the recaps for Aeon's End Legacy. This one is about Chapter 7, The Last Stand. Or is it? Haha. So let's get into it right now. I'm going to try and get this one done a little bit faster than I usually do. So I'm going to jump in right now with this stuff here, and I will let you take a look at it so you can pause it if you want to read them. So here we've got the gems. Again, pause if you want to read them. 2 relics and 1 spell, and our last 3 spells. So before we get into what this big bad guy does, let's actually check out the introduction here. This is all flavor text. If you don't like it, you can skip it, but here we go. Maelstrom has come, and you stand before it readying for the fight. The creature is so massive, and its minions so numerous, that you are separated from the other mages. The sky above New Gravehold is darkened with Maelstrom's presence. Its beacons dot the ground below it, trying to open more breaches to summon even more minions. They cannot be allowed to succeed. You feel a sense of calm as the battle approaches. You can defeat Maelstrom. You can close this breach. New Gravehold must survive. You feel part of something bigger, as if every moment in your life was leading up to this one. The battle begins in slow motion as Maelstrom begins spinning, its large blades slicing towards the ground. Within moments, more breaches open, and swarms of minions claw their way out. The future lies in your hands. The final battle has begun. And then, of course, it says to open the playmat. So, Chapter 7, The Last Stand, big guy up here. You open this, and this is what you get. Now, let's take a look at this quickly here. So, Maelstrom Risen has 65 health, which is a buttload. He's got some Unleash here that says draw a card from the Beacon deck and put it into play. We'll look at this later. The Beacon deck is this thing here, which goes hand in hand with this card. We will not read the increased difficulty because if anybody can actually beat it on this, I will buy them a new Ferrari. Alright, additional rules. When Maelstrom Risen's Assault Turn Order card is drawn. Wait, what? Yeah, hold on here. Set up. There we go. So shuffle all the beacon cards together, which are these things. Place them face down to form the beacon deck. Draw 2 cards from the beacon deck and put them into play. So what are these things? Well, these things are basically minions. Little crappy baby minions. Some of them do nothing. Most of them do something. Alright, so see here immediately, any player suffers 1 damage. They are relatively easy to kill, but they are annoying as all get out. Some of them have shields, as you will see. I will show you all of these in a bit, but let's keep reading here. It says do not resolve the immediately effects on those 2 cards that you've drawn. Fine. And then it says replace one of the Nemesis Turn Order cards in the Turn Order deck with Maelstrom's Assault Turn Order card. So you take out a normal Nemesis card in the Turn Order deck and you replace it with this. So anytime this pops up, and this comes back to here, there we go here. So when the Maelstrom Risen Assault Turn Order card is drawn, Gravehold suffers 1 damage for each beacon in play. Then Maelstrom Risen takes a turn as normal. The Assault Turn Order card is considered a Nemesis Turn Order card, you know, for all game purposes. So essentially what this does is, as soon as you take one of these things out, Gravehold suffers damage equal to the number of these dudes that are out on the table, and then it's a normal Nemesis turn, which means if you had any other regular minions on the table, you would still activate them. You would still draw a new card from the Nemesis deck. So when this comes out, it's just horrible. Because it's essentially a regular turn with all, you know, the stuff that you would normally do, but on top of that, Gravehold would get damage equal to the number of these little idiots on the table. Let's keep reading here. When a beacon is discarded, place it in the beacon discard pile next to the beacon deck. So essentially you'll kill these guys and you'll make a discard pile out of them. Okay, fine. When the beacon deck is empty and a card would be drawn from it, shuffle the beacon discard pile and place it face down to form the beacon deck. Essentially what this means is This is a never-ending deck, okay? These things will come out, you'll kill them, they'll go to the discard pile, and when this thing is empty, you'll just reform a deck and keep going. So you cannot run out this deck, okay? This is going to keep going and going, and this is just horrible, okay? And when there are 10 beacons in play, essentially this whole deck, Maelstrom Risen opens a massive destructive breach and the players lose. So, what this means is, you can't let this thing go completely dry. You have to kill them constantly to sort of like refill, you know, the draw pile. Because if you don't, you're gonna lose. So there you go. So this is his whole shtick. That's it. It seems kind of simple, but essentially what's gonna happen is, the table will be filled with these little guys. Okay, and let's look at some of these cards so you can see what they do. All right, you've seen this one here. This has 1 shield, 2 hit points, nothing special. 3 hit points, nothing special. 2 hit points, any player suffers a damage. 2 hit points, any player discards a card in hand. 1 hit point, the player with the lowest life suffers 1 damage. 3 hit points, nothing. 2 hit points, any player discards a card in hand. 1 hit point, the player with the lowest life suffers 1 damage, and 2 hit points, and a shield, and nothing special. Now you might be thinking, well, these things aren't too bad, you know? Quit your whining. And I agree, in theory, they aren't that bad. But they do swarm the table. At first we were getting a hold on them, but then, of course, you have, you know, the Nemesis specific cards, and the Unleash that, you know, let's look at the Unleash here. Draw a card from the Beacon deck and put it into play. So anytime something says Unleash, you're going to release 1 more of these little idiots. And then, you know, you suffer damage. It's pretty amazing how quickly this damages Gravehold and damages us. And if you let these guys pile up, like if, I don't know, you've got 4 here and you're just not dealing with them because you would rather, you know, shoot one of these other minions, well then, when the turn order card comes out, if you've got 4 of these on the table, well then Gravehold suffers 4 damage. Yeah. So that's what was happening throughout the game. And let me tell you folks, we lost our first game. We lost our first game in, I would say, the middle of Act 2. In the middle of Act 2, we had done 3 damage to this guy. We lost because Gravehold got to 0, okay? We were taking care of these guys, easy peasy. We were beating up on these guys and putting silence a minion on them and all that stuff, like we did in, you know, the other games, the other scenarios. But somehow this just got rammed. It was like, yeah, after I think an hour and 15 minutes, it was like kaput, we're done. So let's look at these Nemesis specific cards and see what they do. Maybe you'll get a better grasp of what actually happened to us. So we've got here a 7 health minion, Whipping Wires, persistent. If this is the assault turn, any player suffers 2. Otherwise, Unleash, which, you know, we'll put another one of these guys into play. A power 3 here, the player with the most expensive card in hand degrades that card and suffers 3 damage. Okay, 3 damage. Degrade is basically, if you had, let's say you had this in your hand, well, you have to go get another card of that type that is less expensive. So you trash that and you go get something else. So in this case, this would now become this. That's what degrade means, which is a minor annoyance, but yeah, it doesn't happen that often. So that's that. Next, Venomous Coil. To discard, spend $6. That's never going to happen in Act 1. So power 3, Unleash twice. So there you go, boom, boom. Then any player suffers damage equal to the number of beacons in play. That stuff cascades, man. Blight. Unleash twice. Bing bang. The player with the most cards in hand that cost 2 ether or more discards all of those cards and draws that many cards. This isn't too bad. The Unleash is, you know, a bummer because of these cards. But, you know, cycling cards is never that bad. Ferocious Assault. To discard, spend 8 ether. Power 3, Unleash, boom, set this card next to the Nemesis mat. For the rest of this game, both Nemesis turn order cards are Assault turn order cards. This cannot be removed once resolved. I think that actually happened to us. I think so, yeah. So essentially, yeah, every time a Nemesis turn comes up, it's considered to be that, which is horrible. So you do have to spend $8 to get rid of this because, you know, this is just going to fast forward your doom, basically. Yeah, here we have Bladius, which is a bad guy from some other scenario. Chapter 2, I think. Here it says 14 health. Immediately, if you defeated Bladius in Chapter 2, read Evolve Deck card yada yada yada. Otherwise, read Evolve Deck card yada yada yada. Now, we had defeated Bladius, so we were pretty happy about that. So right away, we went here and read this. It says, Maelstrom emits a sound you recognize from the first time you fought it. That sound summoned Bladius. However, since you defeated Bladius months ago, Maelstrom is no longer able to call it on for support. Banish Bladius and draw another Nemesis card. So that was a relief. So we didn't have to fight this guy. He just came in and then bye-bye, he left. And honestly, this is maybe one of the only big legacy things so far. Like, this is a direct consequence of us having won Chapter 2. Okay? There's not a lot of these instances of consequences I find so far in this legacy, this whole Aeon's End legacy. But this is definitely one of those moments that you cherish deep in your heart. There you go. So, number 3, Act 3 here, 17 health. Hello. Beast of Blades. Unleash. Any player suffers damage equal to the number of beacons in play. Again, these things not only, when this comes out, the quantity of them will attack Gravehold, but now with these cards, the quantity of them will attack you, which is a bummer. And here, Cracking Earth. To discard, if the Assault Turn Order card is in the Turn Order discard pile, spend $8. Otherwise, spend $10. Yeah, right. It's a power 2, so it's probably going to happen. The player with the lowest life suffers 3. A different player suffers 4. Yeah, this is just like, it's Act 3. The game is going to clean you out. Just go home. Abandon all hope. Ye enter here. And there we go. Erupt. Unleash twice. Bang, bang. The player with the most prepped spells returns those spells to their hand and then destroys 3 cards in hand. I mean, destroys 3 cards in hand is fun. Sometimes. This thing here up top is a bummer. So that's the Nemesis's particular cards. So as I said, we lost in the middle of Act 2. We had done only 2 or 3 damage to this guy, and Gravehold was kaput. So at the end of all this, the only thing we could do was replay the game, the scenario. But before we did that, we had the chance to swipe out some cards with older cards from older scenarios. So we did that, and what we decided to do was get rid of Thunderous Oath, and I will zoom in on it right now. So here we have our spells here. Yeah, we decided to get rid of this one, mainly because it costs 8. Okay, and again, the main problem that we have so far in our games is that pretty much all of our regular gems are corrupted. That's what these stickers are. And these gems can only be used, I mean, they cannot be used to buy spells. So it's really hard, or it takes a really long time to get like a good money system going. Yeah, it takes a while to get a money system going, and then by that time, yeah, you're never gonna buy these. It's just you never amass enough money or ether to buy these more expensive spells. And on top of that, in this particular scenario, you're always fighting these little dudes, right? And they all have little attack values, little health values. So our idea was, it's not worth it to go get something that does like 6 damage, right? To spend so much time, to stack up money, to go get an expensive spell that does 1 big hit of damage. No, you want to fight these little guys. So to fight these little guys, you need a bunch of little inexpensive spells. So we got rid of Thunderous Oath, and we brought back one very old spell, I think probably from the starter deck, I think. So this costs 2, and it deals 2, which is kind of perfect for these little dudes, right? So with that, we were like, okay, let's buck up, and let's play it again for a second time. And now, of course, we also have access to Malistar's Gift, which gives 1 player 5 life, and Gravehold gains 5, which of course is always nice. So with this and that, we were like, let's do it. Let's play a second game. We're gonna win that one. So our new plan was this. We were gonna buy a lot of these cheap spells to deal with this. Okay, so like 1 or 2 of us was going to buy a lot of cheap spells to deal with this, while let's say my friend, who has an easier time of generating money, he was going to buy the more expensive spells, and he would take care of the Nemesis deck, okay, like the minions that come out in the normal Nemesis deck. Our plan was to not even touch him. okay? We were like, let's actually run out the Nemesis deck and just like fight off these guys, right? Because the game takes, like this scenario takes so much attack out of you, right? You have your regular attack for the regular minions and the regular Nemesis cards, then you have a little bunch of little attacks for this deck, and then you're somehow magically supposed to have enough attack to keep shooting at that guy. I don't think it's doable, okay? So our plan was, let's just run out the deck. And you know what? We lost. We ended the game with, well, I mean, this died. I was dead, my friend was dead, my wife was at 2 life. But there were only 5 cards left in the Nemesis deck. So our plan almost worked. But yeah, we failed. And you know what? I'd be surprised if anybody plays this scenario. Let me know if you've beaten it at 3 players. I think at 2 players you can probably beat it because you get to deck build more, but at 3 or 4 players, I don't even think this scenario is doable. Because these guys just swarm the table like crazy. There's no way you can kill, like manage this and manage the regular cards and bring this guy down to 0. If you can do that, I mean, no way, there's no way. I really don't think so. So anyway, so the game ended, and then, yeah, there was some story text. So let's get into it, because this jumps into some, I mean, spoilery territory, but I mean, if you're looking at these videos, it's all spoilers, right? So let's look at this flavor text right now. All right, here we go. So if you lost your first game, play it again. We did that. So let's say this is our second game. If you won a game, read the front of L45. We did not. If you lost 2 games, read the back of L45. Okay, fine. So then we got to go read the back of L45. And here we go. You gave everything you had, yet Maelstrom still whirls above you. Its blades rip into your camp, destroying everything you have built. Out of the chaos, your friends, the other Breach Mages, emerge. With most of its minions destroyed, you are able to concentrate your efforts together. While you could not defeat Maelstrom alone, together you are too much for the bulking creature. As a team, you bring Maelstrom to the ground, filling the air with dust and ash, clouding your vision. You can't see anything past your feet through all the debris. You manage to stand and make your way back to the other Breach Mages. When the dust finally settles, it's clear that Maelstrom is no more. A sullen silence settles over you and the rest of the mages as the reality of what you have done sets in. Laughter and cheers break the silence, and you are overcome by a feeling of relief. Brahma offers you each a hug as tears fill her eyes. I'm so proud of you, mages. Without you, humanity would not have survived. Everyone in this camp owes you a debt of gratitude. You let Brahma's words sink in as you enjoy the flurry of handshakes and congratulations. Wait, what? We won? Yeah, we lost, but then the game says we won. Which, I gotta say, around the table, we were like, what? That's kinda cheap. Yeah, so win or lose, the game just says you won. So, you know, talk amongst yourselves. Let me know what you think in the comments. I am not a fan of that. Read the back of this card. There we go. That you survived shows you are capable warriors. Mist approaches you. I see the sadness in your eyes as you look upon the battlefield and think of all that we have lost. Sorry about the voice. You have taken the responsibility of Gravehold's protection seriously, and for that I have but one final instruction. Listen to the power growing inside you. Embrace it, and you will become stronger than ever. Yeah, I wasn't sure about the voice, but I decided to stick with it, and I'm sticking with it. Okay, open Insight 13, and Insight 13 was this little thing. And what this is you can either put a sticker like so on one of your breaches, or a black sticker to reduce the cost of one of your abilities. And see, that's what I did right here. So yeah, it's really up to you. So if you're a player that, you know, always opens his 3rd breach or 4th breach, then you go for that. But if you're a player that really likes to use these abilities, put a little sticker there. So that's what I did. My friend here opens a lot of breaches, so he actually took one of these stickers and put it on his breach. And my wife put a black sticker here because she does like to activate these things. So that was kind of nice. And then it says, read the front of L47. Let's do that now. Now go, you should be the ones to close the breach. Oh no, that should actually be with the other voice. Now go, you should be the ones to close the breach. Okay. Banish all the Nemesis cards labeled Master and Rhythm, yada yada yada. Read the back of this card when you are ready to close the final breach. You step forward onto Maelstrom's spherical body, moving to close the final breach, ready to put all this behind you. Suddenly, a voice shrieks as the air around you thickens with darkness. I warned you! I could have saved us all! Zaxos approaches your group, and as he gets closer, you notice his wild eyes, pale skin, and long unkempt hair. He looks little like the Laxos you remember, but you recognize him immediately. Tendrils of darkness whip around his feet. This is what started it all, he snarls. I brought Maelstrom here to steal his power, and I will not let you stop me. I will die before I let you close this breach. You try to talk sense into Zaxos, but you fail as Brahma failed. You can't leave well enough alone. Zaxos pulls his lips back into a scowl. I've had enough of your meddling. You scramble as Zaxos hurls bolts of shadow, dissolving everything they touch. I have seen the truth, he howls. The void showed me things you can never comprehend. I have seen the well from which the Nameless draw power. I have drunk from it myself. Zaxos spreads his arms into the air as breaches open all around him, swirling in a circle. Minions begin to crawl out of the breaches, hungry for destruction. You have no choice but to fight. Read the back of this card. Take the insert out of the Aeon Zen Legacy box. This has kind of become a staple of Legacy games where something is hidden under the insert. And of course, I've got footage here, so we found a playmat and some decks of cards. So it says find the Stop 8 deck there and open it. Reveal the supply cards in this deck. Do not reveal any cards beyond the stop, yada yada yada. These are your upgrades. Then of course we could go to our supply and fiddle around with that. So let's check that out. Let's actually look at the new cards that were offered to us, and it's these four over here. So we've got a very expensive relic here at 7, Adrenal Batteries. Gain 2 pulse tokens. You may lose 4 pulse tokens. If you do, open any player's closed breach. Then gain a spell from any supply pile that costs 5 ether or less, and prep that spell to any player's open breach. Yeah. But it's 7. Somehow we can never have enough money, so we didn't go for that one. Sphere of Inversion. I mean, don't get me wrong, this can be very useful. They're always all good, right? You kind of want all of them, but when it's very expensive, we just don't go for that. So, you know, spell for 9, Sphere of Inversion. Cast, deal 7 damage. Of course it's awesome. Any ally may destroy a card in hand. If they do, they gain 2 life. Crazy card, right? If you can manage to buy it. So, yeah. And we have here the Arcing Silicate for $4. Gain $2, gain 1 pulse token. You may lose any number of pulse tokens, deal damage equal to the number of pulse tokens lost this way. We took that because we have a good system going with our cards that we do actually get a lot of pulse tokens. And pulse tokens have become this kind of new currency that's very versatile, does many things. And now it'll do something else. Because you can use pulse tokens as extra money, you can use them to shoot off some spells, like boost them, and now you can just use them to deal some damage, kind of, you know, out of turn, basically, out of the normal casting phase. So we did like that. And here, the Fiery Conclusion, it's a spell for 5. You cast, deal 4 damage. If there are 3 or more empty supply piles, deal 3 additional damage. Now, we weren't too sure. I mean, this last thing here, if there are 3 empty supply piles, this almost never happens, okay? But here's what happened. We took those 2, okay? Because we felt that we need cheap spells, again, because our cards are crap. So what we ended up doing is the following. So we got rid of the Branching Radite, with which, you know, you gain $2, and if you have 2 or more prep spells, gain an additional $1. We changed this out for this one here, because, you know, gain $2, but also gain some pulse, and pulse can become damage. So we thought this was a good 1-for-1 swap, you know, they cost the same thing. So this goes away, and now we have the Arcing Silicate. And then we took Fiery Conclusion, and we actually took out this that we added, you know, just this game basically. So we took that off, and we took this one instead. So for 5, you deal 4 damage, which isn't too bad. So now if we look at our spells here, For 3, we gain 2 and we get some pulse tokens. For 4, we deal 2 and we can deal another 3 if you discard some pulse tokens. Here we deal 4 flat out and maybe 3 more if, you know, the piles are empty, but again, that's never gonna happen. And the Pyrogeist here that we really like when you get these minions with some shields. This is very, very useful. It's expensive, but we do actually get to use it. So removing Branching Radite, removing the Fire Chakram, and putting these 2 back in the box. And that, my friends, is what went down versus this guy, the big ball of Spiky. So we're pretty excited to play the final game. Hopefully, we'll win it. But honestly, I really don't know. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to comment, hit like and subscribe and all that boring jazz. Thank you again for watching. I know this video series is not the most popular in the world. I realize that it's a format that, you know, people aren't that into, but I decided to stick with it. There's only one more left to go, and I will do it. And then I'll probably have a full review of Aeon's End Legacy when all this is over. So until then, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button down below. Now, I know it seems like a very small thing to do, but it actually does help the channel when you do that. And if ever you should find yourself in a super generous mood, well, I do accept donations via PayPal. And anything you give, big or small, will help keep me going. It's October 26th. What the what?